Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan. Looks like we're broadcasting. Good. Time for a live Geekvolution update. Check it out. I'm back full time. Just coming back from my hiatus right now at this very moment. And I was going to do this pre-recorded, and I thought, nah, let's go ahead and do it live. See if anybody happens to be hanging out this afternoon and looking for something to do. You can chat with me for a little bit if you're so inclined. I'm going to broadcast for no longer than an hour, possibly even a little bit less than that. Let you guys know what the plans are for the foreseeable future here on Geekvolution, and just kind of casually chat with you a little bit about whatever might be on your minds after we're done talking about this. Primarily, I just want to talk about what is going to be happening here with the channel, and I love some of your feedback and ideas and things too. I don't have this 100% set in stone yet, but I want to let you know what I'm thinking. I see several people there in the comments already. Hi DJ, how's it going, man? I would have invited DJ to pop in here with me, but I just now suddenly had an hour or so open up in my afternoon, and I decided to just go ahead and sit down and start broadcasting. I shot a full disclosure, a version of this last night, and some things in my mind have already changed about plans. So I thought, I'm gonna redo it, and I'm gonna do it live. You know what? Screw it. We'll do it live. But anyway, there's Guidi, there's Donnie St. Pierre. Hello, Jedi Knight. There is MacGuffin Muffin. MacGuffin Muffin says didn't know he was gone. I feel like I'm really good at taking a hiatus and making it so that a lot of people don't even realize that I was missing. I'll post just often enough that you could say, nah, he's active, but not compared to what I usually do. Me posting once a month is a drop in the bucket, a fraction of what I usually do. But I'm going to use that to just go ahead and jump right into this and say, theoretically, I'm going to be posting less often than normal, even coming back, air quotes, full time. Although, you know me, it's as hard as it is for me to stay away, it's also hard for me not to be constantly working. But I don't have anything like the time that I used to, of course. We've got twin girls in the house now. They are 9 weeks old as of this week, and there's not a lot of time for much else besides taking care of them and helping my kids with their schoolwork during the day. I've said this in the live show, but I'm basically running a nursery and a daycare and a elementary school and a junior high all at the same time right now, and things are getting really complicated in my life. All of a sudden, I just got called up for jury duty, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of it. So in the middle of having to take care of newborns, I've also got to figure out a daycare situation for that, and anyway, so it's not great. But other than that, things have been good, and we had car issues last week. We have 3 cars now, and we had 2 car batteries go out in the same week. That's crazy. I've never had that happen before. So it's just been one thing after another, but Sarah and I are managing pretty well, and it has been easier than we thought it would be, with the exception of some of these weird extenuating circumstances that keep coming up. So I say all that to say I can't be 100% sure how often any particular things are going to come out, with the exception of, hopefully, the Captain Logan show, which DJ and I are going to continue back at its old original time, well, not original, but original for me and DJ, time slot of, because I used to do that like Wednesday afternoons, but Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be broadcasting very often for probably up to a couple of hours, depending on how much interest there is live there. And beyond that, I'm going to be focusing primarily on retro superhero stuff. So it's going to be really streamlined and laser focused on that stuff for the most part. There will be some exceptions here and there, and on the Captain Logan show, we'll be able to tackle anything and everything you guys want to chat about with pop culture stuff. So it doesn't have to be, I'm not going to only be taking questions about superhero and comics, but I am going to only be taking requests that way for at least right now. I want to see how that goes, and the things that I pick to review and talk about will be that kind of stuff. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'll talk about the requests here a little bit later. I am still going to be taking requests, but they're going to be a little bit different than they have been. Let me check some more comments here and see just how all you folks are doing. It's nice to see everybody. There's Jason Best. He says he wasn't gone that long. Man, it felt like an eternity for me. Robbie the Sky, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Mr. Cool. What's up, buddy? Brian says Return of the King. Well, that is just the nicest thing you've ever said. I feel the need to bow to you for saying that. Thanks so very much. Rainbow Nightmare just asked about the Wolverine Insomniac game. I tell you what, I'll come back and try to tackle those kinds of things a little bit later, although I won't do too much of that because we'll have a new Captain Logan show on Thursday. But I said we can talk about whatever you guys want to, so we'll do a few of those kinds of things as well. Hayden Spring, guess who's back? Back again. Cap is back. I have no friends. One of these things is not like the others. Darren Root, how to get out of jury duty. Put Phoenix right as experience, they'll ask you to leave. I don't know, man. I just feel like I have too much, I don't know, is integrity the right word? I don't know how to go in there and try to lie to get out of something or, you know, pretend like I'm in more dire straits than I am or like I'm more of a lunatic than I am. I don't know. Thomas, glad you're hanking in there. Okay, I am. I'm hanking in there. So let me let you guys know what the plans are right now. And again, all of this is tentative and everything is subject to change. So please, nobody get too irritated with me if I make some announcements here and then later on I have to change them. And it's like, God, Cap is so scatterbrained and all over the place. Those things are true, but that's not necessarily the reason that some of this stuff can change. It's just my life continues to be very up in the air. And if I was smart, I would have taken more time off, but I'm not smart. I miss you guys. I want to do this. This is my job. This is what I do. I don't want to quit for longer than I have to. And if I have to scale things back even farther than I'm going to, I will do that as opposed to just going on sabbatical for a long time. So anyway, so regular programming, Captain Logan Show, every Thursday night, 7 o'clock. I'm not going to announce specific times that other videos are going to upload in case I can't meet those deadlines, but I do have ideas in the back of my mind of when I'm planning on things coming up. So you might start noticing patterns, but I don't want to actually officially announce any of that. The Captain Logan Show, Thursday nights, not planning on 2 of those a week right now because of time constraints. If things lax up a little bit in the coming weeks and months, I might talk to DJ about trying to add one. I've mentioned that on the couple of more recent shows we've done. The main bread and butter thing besides the Captain Logan Show is going to be an unscripted version of Superhero Rewind, and I announced this on the last Captain Logan Show. I really want to continue to chat about older superhero movies as much as possible. That's how I started. That's what got me into this whole thing in the first place. It's fun. I miss it, and I was really enjoying the weekly scripted rewinds I was able to get out at the beginning of the year. That is impossible right now, and I knew I wouldn't be able to do that on a weekly basis. I don't know if I can do that on hardly any kind of basis right now. If you guys saw what my days are like right now, it's not just a matter... Sorry, that was my wife putting a thumbs up when I told her I was doing a live show. It's not just a matter of sleep, or sorry, it's not just a matter of time, of just like how many hours I have in the week. It is also a matter of sleep. It's a matter of energy. I'm right now, full disclosure, only going to be able to put a few hours a week into the channel, and it's going to be late at night on the weekends for the most part. This afternoon thing is unusual. I'm not going to be able to do this kind of thing very often. Sarah happened to go out for some errands and took both girls with her, and so I just happen to have a little bit of free time right now, and I decided to spend it with you guys. I needed to make this video anyway, and I thought, I'll just chat with you guys. So I'm pretty exhausted by the end of my day, particularly Friday when I'm taking care of the girls all day and dealing with the kids' schoolwork and all of that. So sometimes I'm able to pull a good 4-6 hours at once, and sometimes I just don't have that in me, I'm finding. And getting the writing done and then audio recording and editing and all of that, that tends to be, because I'm long-winded and have a lot to say and really thorough in Superhero Rewind, it tends to be an 18 to 20 hour job or better. And that's without screenshots and stuff, when it's just the podcast format I've been doing. And so if I'm doing that, there's not going to be time for anything else at all, and you'll probably only get one of those every like 6 weeks or so, if I could even manage that. So I don't want to do that. I want to have some variety in different kinds of content, of course, and I want to keep doing the live shows and stuff. And so it becomes a balance of quantity versus quality, right? Like, I don't want to just throw a bunch of things out there and, not work at it, not make it any good. But I also don't want to put out 6-8 videos a year. So that's the compromise. I've already started working on this. I think they're coming out pretty well, pretty okay. They're going to be not a glorified podcast now, but a straight up podcast. It's going to be me talking off the cuff about superhero movies. I'm still going to rate them. I'm still going to rank them. And I'm still going to put in tweet length reviews from patrons. And so it will be Superhero Rewind in the sense that it's reviews of those movies. There's as much story analysis as I can manage to do in an off-the-cuff kind of capacity, and as much as I'm able to do in a more relaxed kind of way. But the hope is that eventually most of, if not all of those, I can come back and do real honest to God scripted versions of down the road. But if I'm not able to, at least we've tackled them to some capacity, and I might be able to eventually still say that I've reviewed every superhero movie ever made, even if I wasn't able to do them all written. So I hope that's a compromise that we can all live with. I hope I can win you guys over on those, but that is the plan right now. Mr. Cool, no more scripts for rewinds. He put a frowny face for now, and I'm not wanting to do this forever. If it turns out really well and I'm really loving the groove of it, I want to say I could see myself down the road going, I mean, this was a scripted show, but I'm going to keep doing it like this because I'm loving it. I don't think I'll ever get to that place. I think I'll always prefer to do it scripted. Daniel Davis says I look like I just got out of the shower. I had not planned on broadcasting. I actually did just get out of the shower not too long ago. And then my wife suddenly decided to take the girls out for errands, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and broadcast. I know I look like I just got up this morning, but anyway. So yeah, Hayden Spring, Cap, get a puppy, add to the stress. I mean, I have 2 dogs and a cat, but not a puppy. Thank goodness. Jedi Knight, all that matters is that it's insightful. I mean, I never try to be insightful. I just say what I find, the interesting bits I found, and hopefully you'll find it insightful. But thanks, guys, for keeping an open mind on it. And I'll say this, if I put them out and they don't do well and hardly anybody cares about them, then I'll go back to the drawing board and I'll just wait on it, and I'll start doing them scripted as soon as I'm able again. But that's the main stuff that I know a lot of you guys really care about, and I hate to not do them in any capacity. After the great run that we had at the beginning of the year, man, I'm really happy with how all that was going. And I don't want to say I'm bummed that we had twin girls, because obviously I'm not, but it was a little bit of a bummer that I had to quit doing that. And then the other main things I'm going to be doing are comic vaults and commentaries. So some, again, I can't promise weekly on even the unscripted rewinds. I want to do those at least twice a month, but I also want to put out some superhero movie commentaries once or twice a month, probably on things that I've done recently or semi-recently on Rewind. Let me also say that part of the reason I wanted to do the unscripted thing is so that I had something on the podcast feed for Superhero Rewind, because I think we were starting to build a little bit of an audience there. And that way there's still something audio only to listen to there. It will have a visual component on YouTube, but you won't have to look at it in order to enjoy it. Okay, so exceptions to the superhero and comic book thing. Again, let me reiterate, I'm going to be doing Super Rewind Unscripted, Captain Logan Show, which can be about whatever we want to talk about, and then Vaults, comic stuff, and commentaries primarily on superhero movies. I may make exceptions there too, here and there, on just genre stuff that I've never done a commentary on that I really want to. So again, please, nobody feel the need to call me out for. You said you were only going to do superhero and comic stuff. Yeah, that's the focus. That's the main thing I'm going to be dealing with. But if there's something I really want to, get my 3 cents out on, I'm going to do that. So eventually, Austin and I might get back to the Terminator movies. We did the first 3. We had intended on doing more of those. We had plans for some other weird random things, like we were going to do a commentary on The Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I would still like to do those things. And I put up a poll at one point and asked if people minded that kind of stuff just as Patreon-only content, and a lot of people seemed fine with it, but the more I've mulled it over, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to put that stuff under a paywall. So I'll still do blind commentaries, certainly, on the on Patreon, but that stuff, even if it's not comic related, is still going to go on the channel when I do it. It's just making as little content as I'm going to be able to get away with. And I say that some of you guys are going to be like, well, Cap, you're still putting out like 3 to 4 videos a week. Yeah, but I used to do a lot more than that. But anyway, with as little as I'm going to be able to post, I want to make it the stuff that people most care about on the channel, and I'm still in that mode where I really want to do old superhero stuff. Jason and I are also going to try to get back to Father and Son eventually. I've got 2 or 3 of those videos still in the queue and ready to go. I'm just not sure that I want to post them right now because they're not, well, at least one of them I think is a superhero thing, but I was going to say they're mostly not superhero and comic things, and so I'm not totally sure if I'm going to make an exception for those, or if that's going to become its own podcast thing. I've considered giving it its own podcast feed and then just posting on the channel and letting you guys know when that comes out. That may be what I do with that. I'm just not sure yet. Anyway, let me go back to the comments for a minute. Bob the Hunt, I did get your super chat. I'll go back to it here in just a little bit. Darren Root, you wanted a daughter so much they gave you 2. Yes, exactly. Hayden Spring, I really want to see your thoughts on The Boys, even though it's not your sensibilities. I am planning on finally watching that at some point, and I'll talk about it a little bit on the Captain Logan show when I do. Mutale, are you and Austin still not going to do the Simpsons overviews? That's the other big exception, is we are going to continue that series. There's a lot of interest in that, and it was going really well. I was having just an absolute blast talking to Austin about that, so the plan there is to get them out just when we can, once a month, once every couple months, and then do them until we are just sick of the later not as good seasons of The Simpsons. I don't know if we're going to do all of it, or if at some point we'll just cut it off with this is not worth doing anymore. We're going to play that by ear. Hi, Michael McAllister. How are you doing, man? Brian, current thoughts on Superman and Lois. I haven't finished the season yet. I'm still, if not 2, just 1 episode down. I can't remember. I think I'm 2 episodes behind at the end of the season. All I'll say right now is it's done a really good job of maintaining its quality, I think, both in characterization and storytelling, and then also in production values. I think it sags in the middle, and I think it gets a little bit too ambitious for its own good. I feel like it has a little bit of that CW problem of what haven't we done yet? Let's, in your Superman lore, let's just shove that in. But other than that, it's the Superman show I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm still really happy with it. I hope they can manage to, stick the landing with the second season, because I realize that it's only sort of a CW show in that HBO Max has been fitting the bill for that, and it's written better than those shows. It's a little more sober, takes itself the right kind of seriously, I think, than those things. But I still worry that it could have that problem of it got all of its good ideas out the first season and try to do too much at once, and then second season, kind of like Heroes or something, it just really flounders. Gui D, I have not seen Star Wars Visions yet. Didn't even realize that had dropped until just the other day. There's a bunch of stuff suddenly coming out that I'm curious about, that I want to try to sample and just briefly discuss and mention on the Captain Logan show once I get to them. I'm going to try to watch the first episode or more of Y the Last Man before Thursday if possible, because that just started, and I think it's already 5 episodes in, or maybe the 5th episode drops today. I noticed that on, what is that, on Hulu, looking at Smallville stuff yesterday, and I was like, oh man, that's already started and is that far in. Speaking of Smallville, Counting Crypto Freaks is coming back. I've been teasing this all year. I'm going to do something with that show, or something with Smallville, it being the 20th anniversary. I've been getting a lot of requests to get back to the episode-to-episode commentaries. I officially canceled that show, and for the longest time, I had been trying to figure out some kind of more broader model to do with it. Either a full-blown series overview, or just season by season, like I'm doing with The Simpsons. I did that show for too long not to, if I'm doing Smallville, get back to those episode to episode. I'm forcing myself to try not to care about relevancy and just how long I've been at that show. I'm, not even halfway through the third season, and I started this almost 10 years ago. And so I know it's ridiculous, but I can't help it. I really want to get back to it. And so I can't promise how many, how often, if I'll ever finish it, but I'm going to just nose to the grindstone, get some more of those made, and hopefully there's enough interest to keep that going. There seems to be. I get messages about it quite frequently. Cap, at the rate you've gone with that show, if you make any more of it, you won't be done until you're with it, when you're in your 60s or whatever. And I don't know if I'll ever be done with that show, but I'm going to make some more of them and get them out when I can. So yes, that is coming back. Let me also take this opportunity to say I want to do more commentaries of episodes of superhero TV shows. I just think that's a lot of fun, and I might occasionally do some more blind stuff like Austin and I were doing with the Wheel of Crisis. I'm not officially announcing bringing that back. A lot of those didn't have a great deal of interest, didn't have, a lot of views, and I suspect a lot of that is just, A, it's off the cuff, and B, just shows people didn't care about. But I'm going to start taking requests on Patreon for comic and superhero episodes as commentaries, because those will just be a little bit more reasonable in my week to fit in. Trying to do even one movie I've never seen before and then sit down and try to talk about it articulately, on top of trying to do the live show and the unscripted rewinds is probably going to be too much for me right now. So I'm going to make that compromise, and for right now, see if there's any interest in that at all, and I can go back to the drawing board if nobody cares about that. But I'll also continue to take requests on comics, because I am going to keep making comic vaults. So when I am about to make a vault, I'll just look at my list, and if there are requests, I'll do it there. And then for all of the requests that have already been made, I'm going to give you guys the option to either change it to a commentary request for an episode, or I'll go ahead and do the review that you asked me to. I'll go ahead and honor that, of course, because a lot of you guys have been waiting a long time now for those. But I'll do them as either private things just for you, or make them available on Patreon if they're not comic and superhero related, or not really genre at all. Because again, I do want to keep the focus mostly to that on the channel right now, and a lot of those are obscure enough that just not a lot of people care about them, and if I'm not putting as many videos out during the week, I think it's probably smarter not to have those, but I will honor those. And if for some reason it just really bothers you that I'm not making those public, I will certainly consider it. I'm open to everything, guys. So if you have made a request and you want me to honor it and you don't want to change it, let me know, and I'll put out a blast on Patreon and talk to all of you guys about those things. Anyway, let's see what other people are saying. Dark Summers Win, Counting Crypto Freaks is how I got started with this channel. Thanks, man. Guidi, I'd love to see either season reviews or half-season reviews of Smallville. No question, I'd be there. Do you mean on top of Counting Crypto Freaks, or are you cool with what we're doing with Counting Crypto Freaks? And I'm just curious about everybody's opinions. Understand, I realize that I can't make everybody happy, and some of the stuff that I'm doing is bound to disappoint somebody. But it doesn't mean that I don't care, that I'm not interested, and that I'm not going to take your opinions to heart. Ben Kelly, the Smallville panels and Michael Rosenbaum podcasts have given a lot of fun behind the scenes info. I haven't looked at a lot of that stuff, so I should. Robert Wild, the death and return of Counting Crypto Freaks, a Geekvolution event. Yes, indeed. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. Chuck Dixon talks about writing the Spawn Batman crossover on his channel. It's a really funny story. I've gotta watch that one. I haven't had a chance yet, Bob, to start taking a look at his channel. I really want to do that. I was really excited when I found out about that. I think it was Bob that brought that up in the first place on the Captain Logan show a few weeks ago. And yeah, I'm very curious to listen to his Q&A show, and considering reaching out to him and seeing if he'll do a Captain Logan show with me, maybe. Tom, $2 super chat. I'm so happy Counting Crypto Freaks is what got me into the U. Thanks, buddy. Well, yep, I'm gonna bring him back as often as I can. I've already shot one. I've been working on a little bit of backlog here and there, mostly just to kind of practice on the weekends and see what I can get away with. And this is why some of what I'm reporting now is contrary to suggestions I made over the last several weeks in social media, because I'm discovering that I was going to bite off more than I could chew, and I kind of just had to take the plunge and make the attempt and see what I could get away with. Bob the Hun, $2 super chat. Will you upload Ultimate Spider-Man reviews? Yes, that is on my list. Thanks for reminding me. That's in my notes here. I was going to talk about that. Yes. So, and this is a great segue, because this leads me to a couple questions I want to ask you guys. I've got somebody working on the editing for those, because right now with my weekends, I can basically either record or I can edit. I think I'm gonna be okay editing the unscripted superhero rewinds, but other than that, it's really hard to find the time to edit anything if I'm also recording. It's kind of one or the other right now. So the reason those haven't come up is because I have not had time to edit them. I got to get all the panels in them, and I want to keep those consistent because they've always had the panels and the sides going all the way back, and I want to keep to the quality of that. So I can't promise when those are going to come up, but they will, and Eric and I will finish those eventually. I don't even have the time during the week right now to meet with Eric and shoot stuff with him. Hopefully we can again soon. But the question that leads me to is how you guys feel about essentially, I mean, I'll be on screen, but essentially audio-only vaults. I hate that. I don't really want to upload stuff without panels. I've done it in the past. There's precedent a little bit, but I can do a lot more in the way of comic reviews if I don't have to take all the panels out. And, if I can put the panels in while I'm recording or broadcasting, however I'm doing it, but I have found that really distracting. I kind of prefer to, just talk into the camera and then edit those in afterwards. Right now, I just don't hardly have the time to do that. I'm afraid I'm going to shoot a bunch of vaults and just not have time to edit them, and it'll be months or years before you see them. I already have a few, even besides Ultimate Spider-Man, like that you guys don't even know about, that I shot months ago, that I just haven't had time to edit and couldn't get them up. So, just curious as to how you guys feel about those. Would you still listen to those? Do you think it's a good compromise? Or do you want me to post less just so that those have that production value? And then the other thing is, how much of this should I do live? Because I was kind of surprised by a poll I put out a week or two ago asking folks what kinds of live content they most like to see outside of the Captain Logan show, because I've gotten almost addicted to this streaming thing. I love doing it this way, and I find it a little bit easier and less nerve-wracking when I can't turn off the camera. There's nothing I can do about it. You guys are watching, we're streaming, I'm not gonna quit and start over, and that can be a temptation when you're shooting by yourself with nobody else in a room, kind of just, I don't feel as much like I'm talking to myself when I'm broadcasting live, and I really love having the sounding board of you guys to talk back and forth with. I like, in the moment, being able to be called out for making a mistake so that I don't have to look at 6,000 comments about it later. And oh, that was dumb, I shouldn't have said that, and then we can move on. It's really nice. So I'm considering doing more of this stuff. I told you I've got a backlog. There are some pre-recorded things right now, but I'm thinking moving forward after that stuff gets posted about doing more of this stuff live in the first place, comic reviews. And of course, commentaries, we were already doing some that way as well. The only problem with it is I can't always be sure when I can start. So, like, the Captain Logan show, I can do 7 o'clock on Thursdays because my wife and the kids are out of the house during that block, which is the reason I would be able to keep it on that day. But over the weekend, maybe 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30, maybe not till midnight. I'm not sure. And so the question is, should I just, without even being able to prepare for it and let you guys know, should I do what I just did this afternoon and just sit down and go, okay, 10 minutes notice, guys, I am about to start streaming. I know there's a lot of video game streamers that do it that way, but I see this as a different animal because I'm sure it would be nice before a live review of something if you had time to sit down and read the thing or watch it along with me. And I mean, I guess I could put out posts and go, here's the thing I'm working on right now. Sometime this weekend there will be a review. If you guys want to read the book, go ahead and do that. And at some point there's going to be a video. There's going to be a live stream. So that's the other question. How do you guys feel about that? I'll start looking at some comments and see how you guys feel about all of that. Man, there's so many comments here. Let me read some more of these comments, and then we'll get to announcements about Patreon, which is not changing very much, but I want to go through the tiers and let you guys know how that's working in case you're not already familiar with it, and just let you know the little things that have changed. Jedi Knight, would you be interested in covering manga? It's becoming very popular lately. Definitely considering doing more of that. I've always hesitated on it because I don't feel qualified. It's not a thing I know all that much about. I don't know how insightful I can be, and you're talking about totally different cultures with different sensibilities. I don't know a ton about Japanese culture. And so I've always felt just kind of, underqualified to discuss it. But if there's interest and folks are cool watching me learn as I go, really just like I did with comics, to be perfectly honest with you, I will certainly consider that. Okay, so about this comic question, the vault thing. Bujlu says audio only is fine. I listen to them while I drive. Mutale Ugg, I don't know. I don't know if that's what he's talking about. Robert Wild, audio comic vaults are fine with me. Bob, if audio vaults are necessary for them to come out. Donnie St. Pierre says he's fine with that. Robert, whatever is more convenient for you is fine with me. I'm fine either live or pre-recorded. Now we're into the whole live thing. Guidi, I like both live and written. Jedi Knight, there's copyright to consider too. Yeah, but not with comics so much. I've never, ever been flagged for a comic panel, which is part of why I've never worried about that, and I've usually used them. Mutale, you don't get 6,000 comments, Cap, your channel isn't that big. That is true, but I was being hyperbolic intentionally. Matthew Bass, $5 super chat. I would love a The Shadow 1994 commentary when you get the chance. How have I never done that one? I would like to bring in Vince to guest on that when I get to that. So yeah, that is a thing I'd like to do too. Also, have you considered moving your commentaries over to Spotify? I have. That's a thing we've talked about for a long time. I don't know if I would put them in the same feed as the Superhero Rewind feed, or if it would be its own thing. And I don't know if I would post every old commentary, or if it would just be select ones. I'm not sure. And the reason I haven't done it yet is because I can't figure all that out. Or I haven't figured all that out. But that is a thing I would like to do, definitely. If I miss a super chat, guys, let me know, because I've been jumping around a little bit. Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. You should put out all the videos you have done before making new content. You seem to have a large backlog. Yeah, you're probably right about that. It's some of it is I want to say time-sensitive things, and some of it is just, to be brutally honest, just things I feel like making in the moment. So yeah, I definitely have a problem with overextending myself and getting too, overzealous. I'll get really excited about a project and go, oh wait, there's this thing that I never posted. I'm trying to get a little bit more organized, but yeah, I will start getting those things posted soon. But also some of it is just, it takes a lot longer to edit some of those long vaults than it does to shoot new stuff. So sometimes it's just a matter of, well, I got a couple hours. What am I going to work on? Anyway, Greedy, yes, let us know a week before. That's a good idea. I should get organized and start trying to do that. Mutali, interesting question. Would you rather become the CEO of Warner Brothers or Disney? I don't want that job for anybody, but if I absolutely had to pick, it would probably be Warner's. For lots of reasons. There's just stuff about how large Disney has become that kind of scares me, and I think I would rather have the responsibility of trying to just with the superhero stuff or with the geeky stuff, trying to fix the DCEU and make people more I don't know, trust the company more with that whole thing, versus trying to deal with Star Wars. Like, some of that is just fan bases. So yeah, I think it would definitely be Warner's. Code Geese anime fan, welcome back to that same old YouTube that you laughed about. Well, the names have changed since you've hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Welcome back, Cap. Is that a song lyric? I'm not sure what's going on there, but thanks very much. Mr. Cool, I'm fine with most things being live. The only thing I wouldn't want live is rewind. I don't know why, just to have it feel like sort of a teacher teaching a class idea. It has been in my head. Yeah, and again, I hate changing the format to not scripted, which is why I'm sort of considering those superhero rewinds and sort of not. Like, I'm doing that obviously as a way to keep that whole thing going, but I mean, I'm not keeping just the name Superhero Rewind and doing it unscripted. I mean, it's going to be called Superhero Rewind Unscripted to make it very, very clear what kind of thing it is. But at the same time, I totally agree with you, and that's why I'm not shooting those live. I actually don't have any intention of doing that. Senior Nerd, where's the next father and son TAS discussion? It's been 5 months and there's 2 seasons left. We haven't gotten back to watching that because our schedule during the day has changed. So Jason and I used to watch cartoons with lunch, and because of his school schedule and the way we had to reformat some stuff during the day, we don't have that block anymore to do that. And that is the reason that more of those haven't come out yet. He and I have been watching through Heroes, and we're hoping to do a video on that in the not-too-distant future. We've been getting up early in the morning and doing that. We used to get up in the morning and do a live-action show like that, and then in the afternoon we do a cartoon. And we just haven't had time for the cartoon thing. So when we get done with Heroes, maybe we'll get back and try to finish up X-Men and do those in the morning when we get up. But he was very curious about that show, so I went ahead and started showing it to him. Iron Shell, where's the next Nightfall review? So I did a video that I haven't posted yet explaining what happened to that show and why I'm not able to finish that whole thing. And it hurts my feelings. I hate that that's worked out the way it has. I have different plans for Nightfall. I am going to review those in trade chunks, and I don't know when that's going to start, but that is that is the plan with that show. Code Anime Fan, you should stream whenever you feel like it. You don't need to schedule live streams if you don't want to. Well, thanks. I appreciate your thoughts on that. Yeah, I've always felt weird about giving people no notice whatsoever, but very often there's at least a few people that'll pop in, and it seems worth doing. So I think I am going to try to shoot more of this stuff this way. But again, yeah, the unscripted superhero rewind thing, I definitely want to just kind of stick to my notes. Robert Wild, $2 super chat. Can you review No Time to Die with Eric? Not planning on doing any separate videos right now for new movies. I'm just going to talk about those briefly on the Captain Logan show. It's just a matter of time, and my focus being split in too many different directions. If I have to do in a spoiler cast, where I got to keep everything, really in my head and have all my thoughts together and have, a lot of stuff figured out. It's a lot of, it's really difficult to do that with everything else I've got going on and feel like I'm really giving it its due. So that's why I'm not doing those things right now. And it's also, again, a time constraint. I just don't have the time to drop everything and go see a thing right when it comes out and hurry up and get a review out. So I will talk about that after I see it, and maybe at some point, Eric and I can do a commentary on that after it's come out, well down the line. But a lot of people are like, are you going to do a separate video for Dune? Are you going to do a separate video for The Matrix? Yeah, not planning on it, because it's just a time issue. And kind of a brain power issue, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how it feels like to me. So this is jumping down as I'm getting more comments. Donnie St. Pierre, a guy who doesn't know Japan reviewing manga would be a fun premise. And I mean, I guess I know Japanese stuff better than I used to. I've seen more of that stuff. I took a class in college about the history of Japan after the occupation. But whenever I hear people talk about anime and manga, I feel really underqualified to even get into that arena at all, because I just feel like I don't understand the sensibilities yet for a lot of that stuff. Guidi definitely cover manga. John Henry, your outsider perspective, unqualified ness could make it special since others like me are in the same boat. That's a good point. Yeah, thanks, man. Solid Python, hey Cap, are you excited for N64 Genesis games coming to Switch? Yes, I'm curious to see how much of that they do. The fact that you can play all of them online with friends is really exciting. It is. It's really cool they're going to do that. I'm curious to see how often those will come out and what the offerings will be. I've done a lot of that 16-bit streaming stuff on the Switch, and I missed the old Virtual Console, but I also really enjoy what they're doing now to Code Anime Fan again, an audio-only video where you and DJ swim on camera. Hilarious. Hayden Spring, if you haven't read Spider-Man Life Story, I plan on becoming a patron soon, so I would definitely request that. Oh, thanks. I think you'd enjoy that. I don't think I have read that. I've heard people tell me things about it, and I'm almost positive I've never actually read that, but I hesitate, because I've done this before. I'm like, I haven't read that, and then I crack it open. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did. It was a really long time ago, but I don't think I've read that. I'm pretty sure I don't have a review on it regardless. No Lewis Cox, I've not seen Star Wars Visions yet. I will try to get that first episode watched so that I can bring it up on the Captain Logan show on Thursday. Bob the Han Live could be fun for the person who requests the review. They could practically discuss it with you. That's a good point too. Sure. Daniel Davis, fun times. Yeah. Hayden Spring, I still go back to the original Marvel Manias with Eric. That's like peak Geekvolution content for me. Yeah, thanks. I feel the same. I think that's some of the best stuff we ever did. And, I mean, not throwing DJ under the bus, I think the videos I did with him were also turned out really well. But, yeah, I miss doing that kind of thing with Eric, and I wish he and I both had more time for that kind of thing. But I'm glad that while he was living here, we took advantage of it and got so much content made together. There's a real big library of Cap Eric videos, if some of you guys haven't seen all of that stuff. And it's not like he'll never be on the channel again, but he's never going to be as involved as he was then. And yeah, in some ways I miss it, but at the same time, I'm also in a different place in my life now and wouldn't be able to shoot as much stuff with him as we did back then anyway. Cody Anime Fan, and part of that's just because we don't live in the same place anymore. Have you considered doing Batman page by page, like Spider-Man page by page show you used to do? I was kind of doing Nightfall that way when I was trying to do it as Capfall, and I think that format works better with another person. It was working out okay. They were longer than I wanted them to be with the format of that show, which is part of the reason that didn't end up working out. Some of it was just story problems with the story I was telling, where it's like my character was supposed to read like 2 or 3 issues and review them in an hour, and some of those videos would be an hour long. It just didn't make any sense, and that was driving me crazy. So I don't know, if I had to do that all over again, maybe I would go back and just do that as a page-by-page thing and let them be as long as they needed to be. And I don't know, if there was enough interest in it, I would certainly consider trying to go back and doing it that way instead of the overviews, but those videos were not viewed as anything like as well as Spider-Man page by page, and I don't think there was enough interest in it to give it that kind of treatment, which was another reason that it didn't work out. And so I would certainly like to do some Batman stuff that way, but it probably wouldn't be Nightfall. It would probably be something else. I don't know if it would be the earliest Batman issues like we were doing that with Spider-Man. What I'd really like to do is finish page by page, or do more of it with Dan. And that's also been a thing that he and I just haven't been able to get together and do. It's another thing I miss. Just a lot of cool stuff that, you make for as long as you can make it. And because I always feel bad about leaving things unfinished, but at the same time, a lot of these projects we started not knowing how long we would be able to make them. The idea was always just do as many as you can do. And, people's lives change, and they go in different directions, and they have other things they got to do, and you're not always able to make a thing forever. But that is a good thing that I would like to do if I was able to. Bob the Hunt, it would be a good way to hold fans off while you relax. I'm not sure what he's talking about there, because we're talking about lots of different things right now, and I'm not sure which thing he's responding to there. Cody Anime Fan, it would be funny if you did an audio-only video where you showed off your media collection. Yeah, that would be on camera. Oh, welcome back, Cotter, was the lyric there. It's been so long since I've heard that. Just looking at the comments here, guys. Okay, Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. Chuck Dixon doesn't like Killing Joke or Identity Crisis. I've heard that about Killing Joke, but I didn't know that about Identity Crisis. He thinks they're sadistic. Also, you should have him on the show and talk about Nightfall. That would be one of the big things, of course, that I would want to talk to him about. And also Birds of Prey. If I could get him to come on, I would probably go back and finish reading some things that I've like sampled but never finished. He's got a ridiculous catalog. He's one of the major architects, kind of unsung architects of Batman. T-Edge 1, it's a me, Chris Pratt. So long, Jack Black. LOL. Yeah, we'll talk about that on the Captain Logan show on Thursday. I know a lot of people have opinions about the kind of obligatory all-star cast for the Super Mario movie. I'm trying to have a wait-and-see attitude about that, but at the same time, as I've said before, I don't have any real reason to trust Illumination making that movie. I don't have any faith in that, but I hope that somehow it works out. I am scrolling back up through Super Chats to see if I've missed anything here. Oh, good. The area that's supposed to have all of the Super Chats listed only has 3 of them. Fantastic. Did I miss one, like, right at the beginning, maybe? Okay, I'm going to keep looking at the regular comments. If I missed your super chat because you left it at the beginning and it's not showing me the top comments anymore, don't feel the need to put it in as a super chat again. Just leave it as a regular comment and let me know that it was a super chat, and I will make sure and read it. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Really appreciate you guys. Oh, Bob the Hunt, I was talking about your backlog of content that could hold fans over. Yeah, good call. Dim-witted Monkey, just stopping in for a minute to say I hope all is well, friend. You all deserve the best. Thanks so much. Yeah, doing pretty well. Busy, but doing well. Donnie St. Pierre, are you planning on watching the Child's Play show? I forgot all about that, but I definitely would like to at least try that pilot. Paradox, do you listen to Batman Audio Adventures on HBO Max? Is that started already? I didn't realize that. I saw an ad for it, but I thought it was, sorry, my wife just sent me a message, but I thought that was coming out down the line. Okay, let me talk a little bit about Patreon now. So just to refresh everybody and inform newer folks and let you know about anything that's changed a little bit here and there. The tiers are all more or less the same. It's the same dollar amounts and most of the same perks. $2 tier still gets you access to Captain Logan After Dark. The plan right now is at least once a month. I will do 2 if I'm able, but I'm trying really hard not to give myself too much work right now, and into an evening when I have to get up real late the next morning, or real early the next morning, is what I'm concerned about there. So I'm going to do it at least once a month, but if I can get away with it, I want to do more. I want to do more unscripted commentaries. Those are really fun. But you'll get at least one of those a month. I'm positive I can make at least that happen, and that will be the regular discussion show where we can really talk about anything and everything on After Dark. It gets crazy in there. It'll still be Austin and Brandon as often as they can make it, DJ as often as he can make it. We'll do fun segments and things there, and then that also gives you early episodes of the new Superhero Rewind Unscripted show and any Counting Crypto Freaks I happen to get out. $5 tier gets you access to the Patreon Discord and to still the Secret Superhero Screen Society on Facebook. More of the conversation has moved over to the Discords. We have the public Discord. You can get in for free. Anybody can use that. It's very active. I haven't had time to be in there much lately, but there's still lots of activity there, lots of cool conversations going on. And then the Patreon Discord is basically like Discord After Dark. So don't go there if you have a weak stomach and if you're easily offended, because people will say anything and everything in there, and that's what it's for. But the main thing for the SSSS, the Secret Superhero Screen Society, is that's where you can submit tweet-length reviews to be featured on Superhero Rewind. And so if you are inclined to do that, that's the tier for that. $10 tier makes you a Patreon producer, and your name will be read at the end of every episode of Superhero Rewind Unscripted. And then the $15 tier will give you a request for either, like I said earlier, a comic book, like a trade or a graphic novel, or a episode commentary for a superhero comic book TV show. And again, if you currently have a request that you're waiting on, let me know if you're willing to change it for the new format or if you still want the original request. I will honor those, but I am reserving the right to post them publicly or not, just depending on what they are. But I'm also willing to discuss it with you if it really bothers you if I don't post it publicly. Totally willing to hear you out and chat with you about that. And I want to apologize for the wait on those. I'm going to be getting as many of those knocked out starting this week as I am able to. But anyway, that is the news. That's everything I wanted to tell you guys about. So let's go back to the comments, shall we? Brian, what is your favorite streaming service? See, I wonder if I should answer this. There's a couple different ways I can answer this. Either favorite in the way the actual service is handled and just the overall product, and the one I use the most because of what's on it. Right? Like, I think to this day, the service that I have the fewest buggy issues with is still Netflix, but it's becoming one of the more irrelevant ones for content. I'm using right now Paramount Plus a weird amount. Part of that is because I've got kids and they like some of the stuff that's on Nickelodeon. My 3-year-old is watching the crap out of 03 Ninja Turtles right now. So we're pulling out Paramount Plus constantly. I hate that interface. It's the worst. Paramount Plus needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, at least however it's interfacing with Fire Stick, because it's broken. When you bring up that app on a Fire Stick, more than half the time it just immediately launches into whatever the last thing was that you were watching. Doesn't take you to the menu, sometimes even starts the episode over. It's awful. But then beyond Netflix, I don't know, it's because again, I'm not using Netflix as much as I used to. I just think the interface is better than with some of the other things. I don't have as many clunky issues with it, but it's probably HBO Max right now, and a lot of that is just because I'm a Batman and DC guy in So I'm just watching a lot of stuff on that. Hayden, how much money would it cost me for you to review Power Rangers SPD? Send me a message. We'll talk about it, because I don't know if I want to take... I can't take requests for full series overviews right now. It would be disingenuous to do that, because I can't be sure when I would ever get to them. And I used to do that, and it was unfair, because I would get a request, and I wouldn't get to it, and I wouldn't get to it, and eventually... I would have to, offer refunds or ask people to change things around, and I really don't want to do that. So I could jump the gun and do commentaries on a couple episodes for you, because that's what I'm going to take requests for right now. But that's really the best I could offer with you on that at the moment. Brian, HBO Max is also my favorite. Hayden, I personally think the Disney interface is bad too. I can't get to individual episodes. Yeah, I'm with you. I hate that. It's easier on... Some of these things are fine on desktop, or more fine on desktop, but when you get into devices, or you get into like streaming sticks and stuff, you will click on a show and it will just automatically start playing the next episode, and you're like, no, I wanted to scroll. I wanted to figure out which one I was going to watch. Why is it so difficult to get to that? And that should be basic. That should be just ground level stuff. Jedi Knight, didn't Paramount Plus copy Disney Plus? Do you mean just in the title of it, or in the interface? Because that would explain some things, because they both do have bad interfaces, but Paramount Plus is worse. At least from my experience with the device I'm using. Iron Shell, can we request novels for Patreon? Not right now, just because I don't see finding the time to do them. And all the stuff I'm going to take for request right now is going to be commentaries or comic reviews. So I'm not going to be doing reviews of, off the cuff with movies like I used to, but I'd love to do more books. I'd love to do more literature. I will try to revisit that down the road, but at the moment I've got to say no, because again, trying to get at least one out a week, I just don't see doing it. My life is crazy. But exciting and fun all at the same time. Sorry, just looking at a few more of these. Cody Enemy Fan, there should be a Geekvolution streaming service. I mean, there essentially is. It's on YouTube. You have to pay for it. If you pay for Patreon, you get, like, a little bit more rambly, not remotely thought out stuff. But yeah, so, first of all, did I miss any more Super Chats? And does anybody have any other questions about the update? We are 3 minutes away from an hour. I'm going to have to go ahead and get going here in a little bit. Man, I miss streaming. I wish I had time to do this all the time. I got to tell you, I'm at the point where if I could, I would just sit down and chat with you guys an hour a day about just whatever. Just kind of a vlog style kind of thing. Because I really enjoy this. And, for a while, I was doing video game streaming and trying to break into that whole thing. I don't want to say break into that, but just try to build some interest in that. And, that's fun, and I'm not saying I'm never going to do that again. It might be more for Patreon than anything. But a lot of the reason I would do that is because I felt like I needed something on the screen, like something interactive going on streaming if I wasn't doing the Captain Logan show. And I'm finding that there's always more interest when I'm broadcasting in just coming on and chatting about something, be it a review or be it just kind of shooting the breeze, than there is something like gameplay footage, or even like episode commentaries. I guess if it's the right movie, we can draw quite a crowd sometimes. But I think I would get more interest and build a bigger audience during a live stream with a video just called "Hey, what's up?" than I would with Mario World live stream. or whatever the video game happened to be. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I wish I could do this all the time. I really love doing it. I guess I have just fallen into this place where I've got this identity crisis of like, am I a YouTuber or am I a streamer? Like, those used to be two very different things, and live streaming has become popular enough on YouTube that the lines of those have really blurred, and I find myself not knowing where one begins and one ends with me anymore. Because it is a little bit of a different animal. Like, doing this, talking to you guys right now, is very different than if I was doing the exact same thing pre-recorded. Tom, $2 super chat. Orville New Horizons releases that. It was announced finally. Is that what they're calling it? I haven't heard about that. So is that like the official name of season 3, or is that something else? Let me know, Tom. I didn't know about that, but I have been having a hard time keeping up lately. I've been so busy with my kids and stuff. Hayden Spring, Cap, have you kept up with Lucifer? I have not. I've kicked around going back to that, though. I've been getting a lot of crap lately for watching through Walking Dead. I just really got in the mood for that kind of, atmosphere for a while, and now I'm like, it's extremely dodgy and hit or miss, but I feel committed at this point. It's sort of like a Smallville kind of thing where it's like, I gotta finish it. It didn't even just get bad at some point. It's real, like, peaks and valleys, that show, but I was getting some crap from people a few weeks ago saying, like, why are you watching this mediocre zombie show when you could be finally watching The Expanse? That is the next thing that I'm going to get to when I finish that show. That is my plan right now. Oh, it is season 3. That's weird that they're giving Orville, the next season of Orville, a subtitle. That's very strange. Donnie St. Pierre, Eric's doing good, man. He's just working a lot, and spending time with his girlfriend. And Hayden Spring, I don't want to make you cry, but I was able to get a PS5. That's cool. I'm not jealous at all. They haven't announced very much yet where I feel like I've got to have that system. And I have so many games in just stacked up from over the last several years with PS4 that I've either hardly touched or not touched, that like I don't feel like I need a brand new system right now. And I've got a lot of cool stuff for the Switch that I haven't spent enough time with either. Solid Python, Walking Dead just gets worse every season. I guess I'm just having a weird, first watch reaction to it. I say first watch. I don't know that I'll ever go back through it again, but where I'm not responding to it the same way everybody else is. I feel like some seasons are pretty solid and others are god awful and everything in between. It's weird. I liked season 7 quite a bit. Maybe I'm nuts. I don't know. A lot of people dropped off right then, and I like 6 more. I think it's actually quite good. But I still say until 8, because I've got big reservations about 8. I think it gets to a super sappy melodramatic place for that show. But in 4, that's where I thought it really lost its mojo, and I nearly dropped. In fact, I did drop off there. It had been a couple of years since I had watched that show, and finally got back to it. Solar Dragon, what game does the PS5 have that are even worth buying? Right now, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious about that Wolverine game and some things like that are coming out down the road. But of what's out right this very minute, if a PS5, I know people haven't been able to get their hands on this stuff. If I could if I could drive to the store right now and buy one, I wouldn't. Robert Wild, season 9 of Walking Dead is one of my favorite seasons. See, I wonder, and I'm not saying this to call out, who was it, the guy a minute ago that said that that show is bad every season, or gets worse every season. But I wonder if, for some people, it's kind of like The Simpsons, where it fell off at some place for them, and then they never watched any more of it, and wouldn't know if it got better, but just assume that it must have stayed bad. I just wonder, because I haven't finished Walking Dead, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about the later stuff, too. Chewbacca's Lover, the comics are more consistent. It stays good. I've heard that, and I was watching the show and starting to read the comics simultaneously, but I just haven't had free hands to sit down and read comics much the last few weeks, so I haven't gotten back to that. Chewbacca's Lover, are audiobooks able to be requested? You could review novels that way? Boy, I hesitate to review novels that way. I don't keep books in my head as well if I'm not actually physically reading them. I have done that before with stuff, and I'm not super confident about it. But it's also right now hard to focus on a thing like that, I could put a headset in and try to listen to hours of a book during the day while I'm taking care of the girls, but I'm distracted by so many things. I don't know if I would do that. So at the moment, I'm going to say no, but eventually I would like to start reviewing books again. So Dragon, I have zero interest in buying a PS5. I'm more interested in getting a PS2 emulator and playing all the games I have nostalgia for. Okay, so I gotta mention this. I need to get going here in a minute. Sarah's not quite back yet, which is why I've continued talking to you guys. So I had a PS2 that I had had for 15 years that finally crapped out on me, and I bought a new one, not a new one, but I bought another one that was working fine for a week and a half, and now it's died. So I've got two broken PS2s stacked on top of each other, and I'm gonna need to get a third one. I think I actually mentioned this on the Captain Logan show a couple weeks ago, now that I'm thinking about it. Robert Wild, I completely agree with that, Cap, about Walking Dead. Solid Python, I was the one who said that. I dropped off at season 8. I just couldn't handle all the convoluted, never-ending melodrama anymore. I mean, that's fair, and I just have this weird relationship with it where if I kind of live with that, and I'm not turning my brain off, I'm not ignoring it. I realize that's there, but wading through it, there's still some nuggets of good stuff in there, of some decent writing and sometimes at least somewhat compelling moral quagmires and things. And season 7 introduced, I think, my favorite character of the entire show, King Ezekiel. God, I love that guy. He's so interesting. The identity exploration with that guy and the philosophy of make it till you make it. That stuff really resonated with me. So yeah, Alex Roth, welcome back, Cap. Hi, Alex. How are you, man? Graveyard of the PS2. Tale of PS2 is a Captain Logan story. Hayden Spring, two PS2s on top of each other is a PS4 if you think about it. That's true too. That is what PS4 looks like. Why do they just keep getting bigger? You'd think in this day and age stuff would get smaller. Hi, Tank Gunner. How are you, man? Chewbacca's Lover, the next thing I wanted to request was Darth Plagueis. Oh, you mean book-wise? Yeah, it's really hard to commit to sitting down and reading books right now, and so I think it would be unfair to say that. Robert Weil, I knew you'd love King Ezekiel. He's great. He's great. Code Anime fan, Cap, who's your favorite Geekvolution co-host? Well, that's not fair. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying I don't have one. I'm just not going to count it. I'm not going to name names. No, I'm kidding. I've had lots of wonderful co-hosts over the years. Alex, happy to see you, my friend. Brian, are collectors hoarders? Ooh, interesting. Put a pin in that. If you're on the Captain Logan show on Thursday, ask me that, because I'd love to tackle that there. That's very interesting. Are collectors hoarders? I mean, I feel like I'll say this real quick about that, because I'd love to actually branch out, and that sounds like a great me and DJ question. So I want to explore that. But the only thing I'll say about that right now is it's a depends question, because it's a matter of opinion. It's a matter of where you draw the line, right? Of definition. What do you consider a hoarder? How much stuff do you have to stack back before you consider it hoarding? If your house is not a big giant mess and it doesn't, destroy your way of life, it doesn't get too much in the way, I wouldn't consider it hoarding. But I love that question. It's certainly a thing to talk about. Tank Gunner, welcome back, Cap. Your hair kind of looks like Riddler's from Batman Forever. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Thanks. I just got a cut, actually, believe it or not. It was long enough that I had it in a ponytail quite a bit. So if you go back to my last few videos, you'll see it actually pulled back like this. And then I went and got it cut, and I've decided that this is the length I'm going to keep it. Generally get it cut every couple months or so. I really like it long. Robert Weil, Cap, who's your favorite child? Exactly. You're not going to answer that question. I'm not going to answer that question. Matali, are you looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett? Honestly, I am. Hayden Spring, I hate to say it, but Geek Jesus is mine, and by that I mean Eric. Eric's a lot of people's favorite Geekvolution co-host. You guys are welcome to have a favorite Geekvolution co-host. Your favorite Geekvolution host doesn't even have to be me. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to take it personally, but I'm not going to weigh in on that. That's not fair. Daniel Davis is a matter of respect. Exactly. This is great. Cody Anime Fan, you should re-review Batman Returns and give it a more positive review. You also could just make your own review if you like it more than I do. But I would like to eventually do another review on that just to get more in depth on it. It's not necessarily going to be more positive, but I probably have more things to say about it than I did when I first, reviewed it. This is great. Hayden Spring, Cap, what are the odds Jason becomes a super buff dude? I have had that thought. He's pretty lanky, and I think he's liable to stay lanky, but I wonder how tall he might get. I don't think he's got closer to my build, I think, than, like, my brother's. I haven't talked about my brother much on the channel, but Dennis is real stocky. And when he was real little, and by little I mean 8, 9, he looked like he had not as athletic a build, but he kind of grew into it. So I guess it's possible with Jason, but he's already 11 and he's not showing signs of that. I don't think he's going to be a real stout, buff kind of kid, but I guess it's possible. I guess anything's possible. OAW, another surprise stream. Ha, caught it this time, an hour late. Yeah, I'm just about to get going. Theoretically, suddenly a bunch of really fun, interesting questions are coming in, and my wife's not home yet, so that's why I have remained past when I said I was going to. Never done that before. Dark Moonlight Entertainment, is there anything in Star Trek you're looking forward to? I can't say looking forward to, no, because I don't trust any of it. I don't have faith in any of that. It's burned me way too much. It's not Star Trek. They don't know what they're doing. Sorry, they just don't. And there are some, I talked about this on the last Captain Logan show, there are some really cool, potentially cool character choices for characters in Strange New Worlds, and I want to be excited about that, and I can't be, because I don't know, if somehow they don't botch that up again and it's not convoluted storytelling and it's not way too, overly sappy and melodramatic and I don't know, like holding your hand and, kind of patronizing, I'll be, really shocked. They have a house style with those. There's no reason to assume that it's going to be anything other than the pandering nonsense that it has been. So it's sad. But I mean, yeah, I want to be excited that they went back to TOS and were like, what if we made M'Benga a character and stuff like that? It could be really fun, but Solar Dragon, Austin is also hilarious, and I love his sarcasm. He's hysterical. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met, and really lucky to have him working with me. Rainbow Nightmare, can you imagine Lucasfilm making a film, show, or book that takes place after the rise of Skywalker, either 10 years or 100? No, it would be like doing a sequel to Gotham. Hayden Spring, my least favorite is Austin because Canada isn't a real country. That's why Austin is also his least favorite. Yeah, and he's told me that. I'm not talking behind his back. He's told me that. John Henry Austin's great as well. Cap and Austin Simpsons overview is my favorite Geekvolution ongoing segment outside of the Captain Logan show with DJ. Thanks, man. Solar Dragon, Alex Kurtzman ought to be blacklisted from Hollywood. I could not agree more. Sorry. It doesn't make sense the way that man keeps failing upward, and yeah. Tom, $2 super chat. Started Picard. If only it was/wasn't Star Trek. I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I've said this with both it and Discovery. Even if they're not Star Trek, they're still terrible. I want to enjoy them on their own terms. Boy, I wish Discovery was a brilliant pseudo-dystopian, bleak science fiction show that just wasn't Star Trek, and that was the only problem with it. If it was anything like on the level of The Expanse, I've only seen the pilot, but I loved it. I could be like, well, it's not Star Trek, but it's a fine science fiction program. It isn't. It's both not Star Trek and it's a terrible science fiction program. It's a terrible everything program. Code Anime Fan, I was joking when I asked you who your favorite co-host was. Well, in text, it's hard to tell. Solid Python, all Batman Returns faults aside, I think it has one of the best live-action Batsuits. Man, I don't know if I'm just biased because it was a big thing for me as a kid, but I've never, the 89 suit, I've never liked the Return suit over 89. I always felt like the area around the pecs looks like you could put a knife through it, where it was armored before, or if not armored, like it just, looked more solid, right? And then suddenly it's made out of a material that would be really easy to slice through, and then they make a plot point out of it where he gets knifed through it. That drove me crazy. Rayo Nightmare, are you going to buy a PS5 for Spider-Man 2 in 2023? Even if it's more in stock and discounted by then, it seems a lot of PS exclusives are going to end up on Steam, according to a NVIDIA leak. Well, if they do, I may not bother with a PS5. If it's easier to get one by then I probably will, because I would much prefer to have a console and not... Well, I was going to say and not sit at my desk, but I guess I do that more now. My PS4 is right here at the moment next to me, because the last time I was using it, I was streaming, so I guess I don't mind that as much as I used to, honestly. So yeah, maybe I would just do it on stream. It would actually be easier to stream that way if I decided to do any streaming. Yeah, a lot of people, Anime Fan, feel that way about the Return suit. I'm in the minority on that, but I've never liked it. Jeremy Dyer asked this already, but did you ever finish the Jason Aaron Punisher Max that you started years ago? Did I? Yeah. No, I think I did finish reading that. Man, it was so long ago now. I can't remember if I reviewed any of that or if I was just reading it. I must have talked about it a little bit here and there on the channel. I don't think I ever did full trade discussions on that or anything. Welder says, Welder, of course that's DJ, says the correct answer is Vince. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Oh my god, that would be the worst. Hidden Spring, faithfully adapted animated All-Star Batman and Robin, please. Yikes. I mean, it'd be amusing in certain ways. And then it would be awkward because you probably wouldn't be able to tell if it was joking or if it was taking itself seriously. I mean, we've already had that with the Killing Joke and stuff like that, where it's like, let's see. Oh, good. Donnie St. Pierre is with me on the Return suit. Brian, what's your favorite New 52 animated movie? It might be that last one, because that was surprisingly a lot of fun and tied that whole universe together in a way I wasn't expecting, and probably the most fun I had watching any of those. But... I mean, the Flashpoint movie is okay, but I think that last thing they bookended with is better than that. The actual best one, storytelling-wise, is probably... Let's see. Let me think for a second. Because I'm trying to remember if Suicide Squad Hell to Pay is part of that continuity. I don't think it is. I can't remember. But I think it's probably... If not that, then it's Justice League versus Teen Titans. That's definitely one of their best. Rainbow Nightmare, I'm excited about that. I'm sure this will come up again on Thursday, but he says, I don't know if you talked about it, but Tony Todd is voicing Venom in the PS5 Spider-Man 2 game, and Kraven might be in it. Did you play the DLC and see what happened to Yuri? No, I didn't. I heard something about that when that happened, but you know, it's been so long, I don't even remember much about that story anymore. I could not begin right now to talk coherently about it. I don't even remember that much about the Miles Morales story now, man. Like, this stuff, I've got so much going on. I do it once, and I talk about it, and it seeps out of my brain, and later on, it's like trying to talk about a test you didn't study for, or try to take a test you didn't study for. So, I would want to replay that game before I did that. Yes, Robert Wild, $2 super chat. Have you heard about the Val Kilmer doc? It's great. I rigged that up to watch one night, and then I got distracted, and I had to do something else, and I haven't watched it yet. I almost watched it the week it came out, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I really, really wanted to. Yeah, Apocalypse War. Thanks, Brian. That's that one. The last of those 52 movies. He says, I love all those movies. Well, we will have to agree to disagree, because I think most of that is terrible. Daniel Davis, Tony Todd is such good casting. Yes, sorry, I glazed over that. Yeah, I'm stoked about that. That's awesome. I have a hard time not wanting Tony Todd to be cast to voice every villain and everything. He's one of the best dark sides ever, and he was just in Lego movies. No, that'll be great. Let me do this last super chat from Chewbacca's Lover, and then I'm going to call it a day here, guys. $5 super chat. Chuck Dixon doesn't like deconstructed superheroes or politics in comics. He's not a fan of Alan Moore. Interesting. Yeah, and it sounds like I'll enjoy listening to him because we have somewhat similar sensibilities. I mean, like, I guess what I'm saying is I get where he's coming from on that. I'm more middle of the road where, like, I don't want it to be preachy and I don't want it to be the only thing we make. And I think the problem is a variety before it's that ever happened. But I also am sure I share a lot of his sentiments that get him to that place. So, yeah, I'm excited to listen to him talk. Guys, I have to go, but thanks so very much for watching. I'll see you again live on Thursday. I'm going to broadcast as much as I'm able. I really enjoyed this. You guys were wonderful. This is making me go, God, I just wish I had the time to do daily streams and just make this more of a streaming channel. But alas, at the moment, that's difficult to do. I might experiment some with, later in the evening, at night when I have more time to do this kind of thing, and see if there's interest in an audience and what I can get away with. But I let you know all of the plans right now for reviews and Unscripted Superhero Rewind and the Captain Logan Show and all of that. If you have any questions, let me know. I will check in with the patrons soon and find out what everybody wants to do with requests. And in the meantime, I will see you again real soon, folks. Thanks a lot for